It's 425 BC, and Athenian ascendancy is dominating the Greek world. Only the most powerful Greek polis seem able to resist, and even the mighty Spartans refuse to leave the Peloponnese for fear of the Athenian navy attacking from any direction. Nonetheless, Athenian raids take a toll on non-compliant areas, enforcing their will or looting and burning in their wake. Today I'll be looking at a fictional battle I've set up, in which a party of Athenians has landed on the coast of Spartan territory and is blocking the road to a coastal temple in a show of bravado led by their no doubt politically minded commander. A force of hoplites from the nearby, Spartan allied town has seen the enemy force's size and wisely decided to await reinforcement before attempting to see them off. On the Athenian side, between their commander loudly advocating the benefits of democracy and seizing the goods of any uninformed pilgrims, there is disquiet among the men, as their ships have been sent away briefly to cause further commotion along the coast, leaving them stranded for several days. It is at this point that a garrison from Sparta arrives. In recent times, some such forces have found themselves unwilling to challenge the mighty Athenian phalanx, but not these warriors. Their commander recalls the tales of Spartan valour against the Persians and would see this reputation upheld. To simulate this encounter, I'll be using popular ruleset Hail Caesar, whose flexibility lends itself to these smaller battles. The battlefield itself is quite simple, the Athenians having seized a defensible hilltop position next to the road. The Spartan side will have to push them off the hill and back to the coast in order to claim victory. The Spartan side consists of the Spartan contingent, comprised of a division of tough Spartan hoplites led by the overall commander, and a second division of cavalry. These are backed up by the local forces, predominantly classed as levy phalangites. The Athenians, for their part, are an ascendant power in Greece, and the confidence of their commander is well founded as their warriors are almost all elite phalangites in two divisions. Although slightly outnumbered, they also have the hill in their favour. Representing the lighter aspect of their raiding party, their skirmishers and peltasts have been rounded up and formed into their own division. The stat lines for all units used in this game are based strongly on the entries in the Hail Caesar army book for this time period. Right, let us clash some shields.
Being the aggressors, the Spartans took the first turn. The Athenian general was overheard saying, "Go tell the Spartans that their shield designs are boring and derivative." This seemed to have the desired effect, as despite both other divisions failing their orders in the face of democratic might, the Spartiates advanced towards their mortal enemies. The Athenians, for their initial moves, started to infiltrate the trees on their left flank with their light troops. Command issues start to plague both sides now, as again the Spartan cavalry fails to move, blocking the local allies behind them. Then the Athenian light troops get confused entering the woods. Due to the problems in command, a gap begins to open between the resolutely advancing Spartans and the rest of their army, even tempting some Athenians to move some troops down off the hill to flank them. At this juncture, however, the rest of the Spartan army is shamed into movement. The Athenians now manage to occupy the woods with their light troops, and doing so brings the Spartan light cavalry into range of their slings. The first casualties of the battle are suffered as the skirmishing cavalry is forced to retreat in good order behind their advancing comrades. Determined to prove all other action on the battlefield a mere sideshow, the Spartan hoplites sounded the charge and crashed into their Athenian counterparts to their front. Victory would be at the point of their spears. As soon as the Spartan general's attention finally shifted away, however, this seemed to be the opportunity the peltasts and their cavalry division had been waiting for, as they turned tail and fled the front line. Far from harrying the flanks and chasing enemy skirmishers, the cavalry division was paralysing half of their own army. The packed ranks of hoplites clashed violently. The Athenian heavy infantry attempted to push the greater numbers of their foes back down the hill with their shields. On the Athenian left, the combat ended in a draw with neither side gaining ground. On the right, however, the Athenians outright won their combat with no recognisable damage. jeering as the Spartans retreated in good order, but not willing to relinquish their position. The cunning Athenian plan revealed itself now as the unengaged hoplites, having vacated their hill, left a unit to screen whilst the other pivoted to face the flank of the busy Spartans. Meanwhile, the Athenian pelters cleared the woods of the Spartan allied skirmishers who had been unwise enough to get too close. The Spartans then finally managed to simply move their cavalry out of the way, only for the local allied hoplites behind to be reticent to move themselves. Truly, loyalty to Sparta was in short supply outside their own direct ranks. The fighting on the hill continues as the Spartans relaunch their assault. Spears are broken and dice are rolled as the front ranks on both sides suffer tremendous damage, but due to the nature of phalanx warfare, neither side gives ground. Evocative of the legends of old, the two commanders even meet in single combat, both suffering wounds that see them carried to the rear of their units by their own men. With the Spartans occupied to the front, the Athenians close their trap. And to pour salt into the wound, the Athenian skirmishers even managed to hurl some of the Spartan cavalry back away from the woods with missile fire. In the combat phase, sadly the most likely outcome occurs, as the first one and then two Spartan units broke and ran from the flank attack. Over the course of time, the Spartans were never able to effect the frontal breakthrough they needed as the Athenians rolled them up. By the time the newly painted local allies had moved into a position to attack, their Spartan betters had been defeated in detail. Without a credible threat to the Athenian position, the Spartans left a great many dead on the battlefield as they withdrew. A great many questions will be asked, and much will be made of unreliable knaves who cravenly beg for protection from Athenian predations, yet lack the courage to even stand on the same field as the Spartans. Overall, this was a pretty one-sided battle in the end, the command dice really stabbing the Spartans in the back. It wasn't impossible for the Spartans to have won the fight on the hill by themselves, but once the Athenians had the freedom to line up a flank charge, this proved decisive. I hope you enjoyed this battle report. It's lovely to push the old models across the cloth again, and there will certainly be more of this in the future. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the new format. It's quite important that I get some feedback. But in the meantime, I'm Shield100, this is my channel, and I hope to see you next time in the future. Bye bye.